Everybody. Welcome to the STEMspired podcast, where we celebrate the stories of change makers who are transforming STEM and medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Mia Edgerton-Fulton, and today's guest is a global force for impact. And we have Adaeze Iloeje-Udeogalanya. She is phenomenal. She's a mechanical engineer, a project leader who has managed high stake engineer initiatives around the world. And even bigger than that, she's the founder of African Women in STEM. And her platform is empowering the next generation of innovators. And she's also a compelling storyteller who's had a TEDx talk on cultural identity and innovation, which has inspired thousands. I'm included in that thousand. She leads with purpose, she builds with intention, and she is proof that representation fuels progress. So please join me in welcoming her to the STEMspired podcast. Adaeze, we are honored to have you here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm like, what are you talking about? Is it me? Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, of course. So I know we've gotten a chance to get familiar with each other. But for our guests, can you please introduce yourself both professionally and personally in your words, since I kind of gave a little foreshadowing there.
Yeah, I mean, my words are not going to measure up, okay? But I'm going to try. So I'll keep it simple. I'm Adaeze Iloeje-Udeogalanya. A leadership and strategy coach, and also the founder of African Women in STEM. I'm also a daughter, a sister, a wife, and a mom to two incredible kids. And I want to say my best thing is just quiet mornings with a cup of coffee and an amazing view. So if you can give me that any day, I'll be fine.
Yes, yes. Oh man, I did that this morning myself.
Yeah.
Isn't it great? I definitely can resonate with that, especially with, the family piece. It's good to have that serene time to reset and prepare for the day.
Yes, it is.
So the first thing I wanted to ask you is, can you share what inspired you to establish and start African Women in STEM, and how did your engineering background help shape that vision?
So it's a story that can go on for days, but um I well, I'm Nigerian, so I moved here to go to grad school. And one of the exciting things about that is prior to that, I did an internship and was kind of introduced to the oil and gas industry because I had seen during a site field visit that gas was being flared in Nigeria, and it was just, polluting the environment and the waste. So I had the opportunity to work in a company that actually was designing LNG plants. And then that kind of triggered. I was like, okay, I want to get into this natural gas thing because I want us to be able to use the gas instead of waste it. Because back home, unlike here, we still have gas in cylinders. I mean, if you live in the middle of nowhere, you still have to have your propane tank. But otherwise, gas is piped. It's cheaper that way. So I came here with a dream to study, learn everything I can so I can change, the energy industry in a sense and be able to provide people with more. But then I finished, started working, got excited, was learning, and was ready to conquer the world because I grew up in a family where my parents always told me I could be whatever I wanted as long as I decided what it was and focused on it. And that's the attitude that I had going into work. So I believed I was here, I was going to make it, and it was going to happen. So there was no doubt in my mind I was going to get everything I wanted, but that wasn't the case. And not so much in the early years, but sometime mid-career, it just became more and more difficult because the way I describe it is people did not account for me when they set out in life or in their career. And here's this woman. Who is she again and why is she here? Why are you here? Because
Mhm.
as you go higher, the positions are fewer, and now you're competing with these people over the same things. And it wasn't comfortable for them. I approach
Mhm.
I come from a point where I think different is exciting. because I come from a place of curiosity, so I want to know. But I realize that most people different is no, no, I don't want this. I don't even want to figure out what it's about. So in that sense, it made my career a little challenging. And what made it even more challenging is that yes, there were not many people like me, but there are also not very many women as well. And
Hmm.
the culture in the industry wasn't what I was used to or what aligned with my values. And I spent years trying to find someone that had figured it out that was close to me. That didn't happen. And then next thing I knew, people were coming to me with the same problems, with the same issues. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. This is 10 years in, more than a decade in my career. And everybody is coming in and going through the exact same harrowing experiences. So I started some mentoring. From there, I started inviting people, and I realized that what people needed more was just a safe space, a community where they could be themselves, learn and grow. And that's how
Hmm.
African Mini STEM started. So my engineering background of wanting to solve problems, I still always solve it. Plus, I also believe a lot in the power of community and people working
Hmm.
together to make things happen. So I saw this problem as, yes, it was my problem, but it was also bigger than me. And it wasn't something I could solve by myself. So I needed to create this space to bring incredible women together so that, we can help one another and they'll help other people have better careers.
Yes, that is beautifully said. And community is everything, especially right now. We need to
Yeah.
uplift each other. And
Yeah.
of course, I think it's great for people to see that it's possible, despite
Mhm.
however however you want your trajectory to go. You can go as far as you want. It can be challenging, but it's great to always have people in your corner that can help support you along
Yeah.
the way. So I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. So one of the biggest things I truly admire in that I've noticed from working with you and talking with you about you've managed projects that are worth a lot of money. I mean,
Mhm.
millions of dollars. I mean, yeah, that's a big deal. So
Yeah.
what leadership lessons from these opportunities, how have they translated into your advocacy work?
So yeah, it's kind of interesting because the industry I worked in, I was in consulting. So usually when you're consulting, you get thrown into things that are larger than you because, the client wants and then you do. But one thing that always worked for me is that I put people first.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in having a process for doing things and also what's my reason for doing this. I know it's work. People talk about purpose when they talk about life, but again, work is part of your life.
Right.
So putting people first has always made it possible for me to be literally successful in all my projects and just exceed expectations. Because when I walk into something, because I'm the consultant, I'm usually managing the project. I have all this team, internal and external. The first thing I do is to figure out who's on this team. Who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Because one thing I've seen in my career is that sometimes when people are in positions of leadership, they forget that the people they're leading are adult human beings
Mm-hmm.
who have a reason for showing up. Whatever that reason is, it could be they want to make money, which is still a good thing. It could be they want to take care of their families, but they show up every day for a reason. And then having them tap into that reason will make it so that they do the things that they do for themselves and also for you.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you here? Because you love what you do, because you want to do more for the world, because you want to take care of your family. What? And then I find out what are your experiences? What have you done in the past? Have you encountered this kind of problems? So it kind of gives me a whole, like, not necessarily 360, but as much as I can about this person. And what it does is I no longer have to feel like I have to be the one to manage the project, every little detail, tell everybody what to do, make it work. No, I lean into them, help them own the project, own their own part of the project. Because some of them, like I manage people that have had so many years of experience, they've done that
Mm-hmm.
more times than I have. I may know how to put it all together. I might have a big picture thing, but I don't have like the specific skills. So that makes it so that every project I work on, people always feel like I'm here to contribute whatever I have and to be my best. And they actually give me more than I expect. And as such, the project is always, always successful. So it's worked for me. One perfect example is I had a situation where it was during the financial crisis, and we had a client that laid off all their engineers and hired my company to be the engineering company. I
Mm-hmm.
went over there. Everything was a mess because just laid people off. So I had to figure things out, and I had to start traveling all over, several states where there are people to start talking to people and getting information. And I did all that and I thought everything was fine, only to find out months later that I was literally the only one in our entire company that people over there actually talked to or gave any
Wow.
information.
Wow.
Because all my other colleagues, what they experienced was resistance because people always felt, oh, they fired my friend and now you're here. I never experienced that. And this is like with several people across several states. And that's because of my approach.
Mm-hmm.
So I went
Mm-hmm.
there to spend 3 months. They didn't want me to leave. I ended up spending 18 months because I was doing so well and I built such a great relationship and I was able to do more for them. So that's basically one of the things that, I'll actually say made it such that I was able to every single time with every single project take on things that are more and more
Mm-hmm.
complex and more like, high stakes and high value.
Yes, we need these change makers in these spaces because a lot of times people don't feel seen, they don't feel heard, and you coming in to help navigate those things while also making sure projects get done
Mhm.
properly is a big thing. I mean, not everybody can be a leader in that way. Um,
Mhm.
one of the things that I also really found interesting about your experience was the TEDx talk. I mean, TEDx talks, those are powerful and those are amazing opportunities. I know you kind of talked a little bit about cultural identity and how that acts as a driver for innovation. Can you unpack how embracing one's roots helps fuel creativity in the world of STEM?
Mhm. Um, I think this is around the time I was preparing for my TEDx talk. I started finding out all these words like covering, like code switching, all that kind of stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, again, like I told you earlier, when I started my career, I did not expect certain pushback that I was having.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a big picture person. I've always had incredible ideas, and I always see the forest for the trees. That's what one of my managers told me. And I'll bring all these things forward, and I always get a pushback. This is not how we do things, or they don't really necessarily expect that I'll be the one to, do certain
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Even just the way I relate to people wasn't, accepted. So over time, slowly but surely, because I'm not the kind of person that will change who I am for other people, but what I did was I hid or I safeguarded those parts of myself because, it wasn't accepted and I just wasn't gonna have people like throw stuff at me and tell me it's not okay. But it happened slowly and over time. I didn't even realize how much of myself I was hiding because when it comes to work, my work was exceptional. However, that wasn't all of me.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to do what I needed to do at work and just be really great at it, I would just use it just a little piece of myself. So what happened is that over time I started feeling like uneasy, unsatisfied. I didn't know what it was. And finally I realized I couldn't help myself. So I hired a coach, and one of the exercises she asked me to do was to go talk to people. It was a great exercise because one, I started finding out more about myself that I wasn't aware of. But the one that hit me the most is when my brother told me that I don't know who you are anymore. Like
Wow.
you're somewhere there, but I don't know where that like you're totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like you died and somebody is just walking
Oh
around.
my goodness.
And I was like, oh my God. I mean, it was him saying that and I realized that was true. I didn't know it, but it took me a while. I was like, what's wrong with you? But it was true because I was suppressing everything that made me me. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
smile too much. I didn't say hello too much. I didn't give him a cat. I didn't, because everything was interpreted the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
So realizing that I was like, okay, this is a problem. I can't be two separate people. Somebody else at work, but the thing was like it was also actually affecting me outside of work because I wasn't like as open as I could be. So realized that I was like, you know what, this has to stop. So I started
Hmm.
allowing myself to just be myself. What that means is that if something happens and the first thing I want to do, I just go ahead and do it. And I don't care what anybody says. This is who I am. These are my braids. These are my clothes. This is my accent, whatever it is, this is it, whatever ideas. And then even if, because I'll put ideas out and based on the reaction, but now I put ideas out, whether or not accepted is fine, but this is me, it's going to come out. What that did was it just basically totally and completely changed who I was and the way I related to people. And I didn't even realize it until about a year later, I was doing my performance review, and my manager was like, I don't know what happened, but everybody is talking about you. I didn't even know it, but what all it just took was me being myself. And that was around the time I also founded African Women in STEM because it had to do with being bold and stepping out and not letting all these things, tell me that this is not how, this is what, and so on and so forth. So
Hmm. Hmm.
it was a process over time. But the thing is that the things that I've been able to do, the people I've been able to meet, the relationship I've been able to build was possible because I wasn't trying to not be myself. So
Hmm.
it is really critical because if you can lean into who you are, and your culture is a huge part of that, because it's about the way you think, eat, drink, dance, talk, whatever, all of those things. That means that you don't stop yourself when those creative thoughts come to your mind, when those innovative thoughts come to your mind. You're not holding back, you're not afraid of anything. You put it out there, however it's accepted or not, it's fine.
Hmm.
If it's not, you find where it will be accepted and you move on. It changes the criteria of how you decide what should be and not be. And then you're no longer holding yourself back. So it is very, very important. It actually changed my life. And I really like TEDx talk it every time. Like, this is my TED talk. Just embrace yourself completely because there's so much they have to offer that the other person doesn't have.
Hmm.
And holding it back means that everybody else is suffering because they won't get the full you, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think a lot of Black women can totally relate to what you're
Mhm.
talking about. Um, I also felt like at one point in my career, I felt like I was suppressing myself. But like you said, when I tell people all the time, when you get tired, you'll stop doing it. You'll stop doing it. And
Yeah.
like you said, show up with your braids. Your braids look good. They look great. Um, and also I think too, at least from being born and raised in this country and how they view, the South versus, different parts of the country. And I just learned to embrace, I'm from the South and it is what it is. This is how
Mhm.
I talk. If it's too country for you, then oh well. Oh well. I can't keep trying to change my dialect for these people. It's too much.
Mhm. Yeah. And
Yeah.
just to add, I just heard something, yeah, 2 days ago. This guy, he's a public speaker and teaches people how to speak. So somebody
Mm-hmm.
was saying something about, how accents hold people back. And he was like, it's not your accent, it's your articulation.
Mm.
He was like, it doesn't matter what accent you have, if you can articulate. He was like, that's the reason why people think that, if you speak British English, you're so awesome because they enunciate the word. So it sounds like, oh my God, they're so special. But so that was amazing for me. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to tell everybody this.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, if you can articulate better, you command, that respect as well. So yeah.
That's true. That's true. And it's kind of like you said, how you it's not about necessarily code switching or anything like that. Like you said, when you can articulate your words and you can communicate, what it is that needs to be done effectively,
Mhm.
whether it be the work culture needs to shift or anything like that, as long as you can express yourself and articulate yourself in a way that reflects who you are at the same time, it sometimes it might not work, but a lot of times I think it does work. It is
Mhm.
more effective. So
Mhm.
I agree with what you said. Um, so all these wonderful things you've done throughout, your career and how you inspire other women out here. Can you share one act of self-belief that you'd encourage undergrads, graduate students, any professionals in STEM? What act of self-belief should they take right now in the present time?
I'll say you are it. And the reason I say that is this one, as I was thinking about this, something came to my mind. You know, when they say that comparison is a thief of joy,
Mm-hmm.
my experience, I was a pretty confident person because I come from a family where they believed in me. So you can't tell me nothing. Okay. So, and that actually helped me a
I know
lot
that's
throughout my
right.
career. But it's true, it's always good to have support. Like
Mm-hmm.
if somebody says you're not beautiful, like I have 100 cousins that think I am, so I don't know where to,
I know
you know
that's
what I
right.
mean? Um, so, but still, because we're human. So, like when I started my career, I had, you have these ideas of what a leader should be, a leader should look like, how they should talk. I used to speak a lot when I was much younger, but in my career, I actually stopped speaking because apparently you're supposed to speak some way, and that wasn't me. Because I was waiting until I could speak like that, and it never happened. So your it means that you you're everything, and all you need to do really is ask yourself, are you giving yourself the best opportunity? Are you taking advantage of all the opportunities you have to be the best you can be at this particular time?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can always learn from people. Like the other day, I just learned this exercise about like, if you go through your day and what you're doing with your time and mark them with different markers, red, yellow, and green. Red means things that, are just mundane and wasting your time. If you have a lot of reds, you have to change it. That's something I've learned. I'm going to apply and implement it in my life. That's totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Versus what I'm talking about is trying to be someone else because you believe that that is how, you know, you should be. Or, for example, African American, we believe so much in paying it forward. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't be a mentor yet because I'm not yet. I can't be this. They keep thinking that there's a time when they'll get to a point where they become so perfect and now they can give back. I had that mentality too as well. It's human in a sense, but you are it.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself always the best opportunity, to be the best that you can be, and that's all that you need. And you keep going and growing, and it's not going to be okay because as long as you're comparing yourself to someone else, or as long as you have this idea of this is what I'm reaching for, and if I don't get there, then I will not, or I can't until I get there, you're going to have a lot of years pass you by
Mm-hmm.
where you're not living your full potential.
Woo! Drops the mic. That was powerful. Like we said, authenticity always leads the way. And I think too that confidence, building that confidence to know like
Mhm.
somebody can benefit from hearing our stories. Someone can benefit from our life experiences and us
Mhm.
sharing some of those things. So yes, everything that you said is 100% correct. And I think our listeners will definitely embrace the wisdom that you shared with us today. And so, how can our scholars connect with you? You've given so much wonderful advice. You have an amazing organization. So, how can people connect with you and stay following up on your journey?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's a good thing, but I'm always on LinkedIn. And at African Women in STEM, we always have events that are centered around helping you grow in your career, your leadership, and your life. Because I believe it's wholesome. Your life is not different from your career, it's all together. So we host a lot of events. So if you visit our website, africanwomeninstem.com events, you can register to be notified, or you can also RSVP for the events that we have going on there. And I'm looking forward to seeing as many of you as can join us as we learn and grow together and impact the world
I know
like
that's
you're
right.
doing.
We have to impact the world, and we had such a powerful and purpose-filled conversation. Adaeze reminded us that STEM isn't just about technical skills, it's about identity, leadership, and using your voice to create impact. Her journey proves that when we build community and invest in others, we unlock innovation on a global scale. So, to stay connected with Adaeze or learn more about African women in STEM, be sure to check out the links that'll be in the descriptions. And if today's episode moved you, please share it with a student, mentor, or future engineer who needs this message. Thank you all for tuning in to the STEMspired podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and join us next time as we continue amplifying the voices that shape the future of STEM. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and stay inspired.